Getting VCs interested in your startup is the hard part. But let's say you've gotten it done. You got them to say yes, they love it, they're ready to work with you. Now you're in a due diligence phase. You trying to look for that term sheet. You want to get them on your board, but it's not happening yet. Today I want to break down exactly what happens. I've talked to investors about this, what the process is like when some deals just die. What's up, founders? I'm Chris. Thank you so much for tuning in. Welcome back to the channel. Now, make sure you like the video, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Hit the hype button, get us in the algorithm. I'll appreciate that. There are some VCs, some investors who have deals on the table right in front of them, and it just falls apart. A good 20 to 30% from what I'm told, because something happens in the process, it just falls apart with the founder. So this could be something you might be doing or have done as a founder, and you wonder why the VC, the angel, just ghosted you. So today I want to break down exactly what that could be. The first one is valuation and dilution. You got to be clear about this. And before I even start this off, I got to also say, once you have too many investors on your term sheet and it's too much going on your cap table, then that could just be too chaotic. And some investors will say no because of that. Because if you have 50 different names on the cap table or something that feels like 50, some investors run away. They don't want to deal with that. It's too chaotic. So I just had to put that disclaimer out there. So if you're raising $2 million on an $8 million valuation, that means you're giving up 20% of your company. This is where a lot of friction can happen because some founders don't want to give up 20%, but they still need that 2 million and they believe the company is worth 8 million. And it could be just this big debate because the investor might not agree that it's worth 8. So now you have to go back and forth and negotiate that part and see what that looks like. And I've seen situations where some founders and their co-founder disagree on things because they're focused on getting a check and getting a term sheet signed. But one of the other founders is focused on, hey, this isn't the right thing and we don't want to give up this much equity. And it's a lot that goes into it. So the valuation part can be a problem. Liquidation preferences are big as well. And I know these are a lot of things that founders don't really know about. If you don't know, it's okay. That's why you're here, to watch the content, to learn. And what liquidation preference simply means is that investors get their money back first. That's all it is. Now, there are other layers to it. It could be more complex, but that's essentially what it is. And those preferences are something you got to talk about when you're raising capital. You can't ignore it. Like, these are all things you as a founder have to know, because if you don't, you might think, oh, I'm selling my company. I have this big exit. I'm going to make a lot of money. But at the end of all of it, after the whole legal process goes through, you end up with pennies. We see it happen all the time now. It's a very normal thing. So you as a founder got to do the work to learn this stuff so that nobody can finesse you. Now I want to list out some of the exact surprises that investors can see that make them run the other way. One of them is the cap table surprises I mentioned before. If you have a lot of really just complicated stuff on there, if it's too many investors, I've seen, I've had some investors tell me off the record that, I didn't invest in this company because that investor was there and I don't like that investor. And they were right in the long run. The company did fail and all of that. And they were kind of excited about it to tell me this, which I thought was hilarious. But I can't be mad at that. I can't, because if you have to work closely with that person or whatever, and it could just be friction. And for some of these people, they take their principles very seriously. And then it's on you as a founder to make sure you mention those investors that you work with that are already on the cap table when you're pitching. Like, that should be a part of the conversation. If you already raised capital, you have investors that have put money into what you're doing, you got to let the other investors you're trying to get more capital from know about that as soon as possible. This next one I'll call founder conflict. There's a thing that investors look for when they put money into you, and that is your references. And you as a founder have to have good references. You have to have solid relationships. This is where your character comes into play. Because remember, they're investing in you as a founder. That idea can change and pivot, but who you are at your core probably won't. So they need to know that you are on point, that you're a solid person. And this is why your character is always a big priority, in my opinion. I never want that to be in question. I would say the last one is a misaligned timeline. There are some founders who have it in their mind for some reason that they're going to raise capital within 2 or 3 weeks. I will say for some companies that's possible. If you're talking to like angel investors, it can happen. I've seen it. But the reality is, with a lot of VCs and the bigger angel investors or the conglomerates, the groups, the special, all of that, it's going to take longer, because in their due diligence process alone, it takes a good month. They got to make sure that your company is right, all the legal stuff is right, check all the boxes on you yourself as an individual person. It's a lot that goes into it. This is where you as a founder can't get too mad because you are trying to get money from them. Like at minimum 50K and max, you're raising $5-10 million from this firm. Yes, they're going to look into all the details. Yes, they're going to take forever. Check every box. It kind of makes sense, right? Now, the key to all of this is knowing how to deal with all of it. If there's an issue with the valuation, you can negotiate that. You can build leverage by having other investors and other term sheets out there that just exist. They have to compete with it. Board composition. You want to make sure that you stay in control of your company, that you have a seat there for yourself as a founder so nobody can just fire you from your own company, especially in the pre-seed stage. Then you got to think about option pools. I won't get too much into this, but do your research on that. Matter of fact, I'm going to do a video on it. Don't do your research. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Don't fight over stuff like liquidation preferences. Usually it's 1x. That's what every investor wants. That's the industry standard. Something like the updates. There are some investors that want updates monthly. Yes, it's a couple lines in an email. Not that big a deal. You can do that. And then like pro rata rights, don't waste your time arguing over that. It's just not worth it. So the key is you as a founder have to know how to push back on the right things and let the little stuff go. You don't want to seem petty or difficult, but for the bigger picture things, you want to make sure your voice is heard and that you express your concerns, you and your co-founders. So there you go. If you're wondering why deals fall apart even after the conversation goes well, and this, even if you haven't raised capital yet, I realize this is a good conversation because you can have this stuff in mind before you even get to it. So you avoid having the problem. So if you're a founder raising capital, you got to check out Compass because Compass is the only tool that's going to get you warm introductions directly to investors. And I'm just excited for all you all that are active raising capital for your company. So if you got a question, put your startup down in the comments below. Hit me up on LinkedIn, Instagram, all of that good stuff. And make sure you like the video, subscribe, hype. I appreciate all of it, man. It costs you nothing. If you got any questions, hit me up, man. I'll see you next time.